Hey everybody, it's Norm from Tested, and today I'm going to be reviewing a new printer that I've been testing. It's a 2D photo printer, this guy made by Liene, but what caught my eye is that this is the first 2D printer I've seen that not only can print photos, in this case 4" by 6" or 4" by 7" photos, but also incorporates in the machine a cutter as well. So in the past, we've reviewed different types of printing machines, not just 3D printers, but also devices that can print Polaroids, or your standard inkjet or laser printer, or even direct-to-film DTF printers in the past. We've also reviewed machines that can do some type of computer numeric control CNC, two-axis cutting, like laser cutters, or vinyl cutters, like machines with Cricut. And this device, the Pix Cut S1, combines both of those into one all-in-one device. So it can print photos, or it can print stickers on sticker sheets and then cut out those stickers as well, all in one go. No need to take a printed sticker sheet, align it, register it on some type of vinyl cutter, and then cut them out. Does it all at once, which immediately caught my eye. That could be really cool for artists, graphic designers, people out there doing some type of small batch manufacturing, selling their wares at a convention. So I want to break this down and talk about how, first of all, this prints photos, and then also how well it does that cutting. On the photo side, this is not a inkjet or laser printer. In fact, it's a dye-sublimation printer, the first one I've used before. And what that means that instead of using some type of reservoir of ink or a toner cartridge, its ink is stored on cartridges as well. But these cartridges have a long ribbon on the inside. The ink is embedded on a ribbon which can be heat transferred onto their photo paper. And I've actually taken apart one of the old cartridges. You can see the ribbons. What you can immediately see are these colors, CMYK. This is a CMYK printer. So you have cyan, magenta, yellow, and in CMYK, K is black. But in this case, the combination of these colors also create black. There's also a fourth, which is a gloss kind of laminating layer. And what that means is that as opposed to having a tank of ink that you have to think about and how much ink you might be using per print or per page, every print that goes through this machine, every photo that you make will make use of that set of CMY and gloss. And what that means is whether you're printing a sheet that has like a lot of white space around it, negative space, or one that's full color and full of dark edges and dark background, it's going to use the same amount of that ribbon. And with each of these cartridges that you have to buy from them and only that they make, you get 36 maximum prints, assuming nothing goes wrong. And that's why when you buy the consumables, the ribbon cartridge and their photo paper or their sticker paper, it comes in these 36 or 72 print packages. And what it also means is you think about it differently. You're not wasting ink unless you're doing like a print with just nothing but white and a small image on the corner. You can go all out and make these really vibrant and high quality photos. It also being dye sublimation means that the colors fill the photo really well. So as long as your source photo, the JPEG, the PNG file, whatever you might have on your phone's camera roll gets sent to the application, as long as the resolution is high enough, the photos look really, really nice. You can't see dithering, there's no pixelization, the pixel fill equivalent of the print, it just looks really great to the eye. It feels great to the touch with this lamination on top. And these are nice, durable photos that I've already put in frames and put around my house. I've had photos sit in my living room where the sun comes in for over a month, and I haven't noticed any fading either. But if you're printing 100 photos, 1,000 photos, many hundreds of photos to put in a shoebox or a photo album, going to a third-party service is certainly going to be faster, because it also takes a little bit of time to print each of these photos as well, because every one of these photos needs to go through this CMY and laminated process, because it takes about 60 seconds to print each photo. So that's the printing part of it. The cutting part of it, I think, super fascinating. So while the photos go in the back, and so here is, for example, just the sleeve of where you put all your photos in. It plugs in to the back of the printer, and with every print, it'll go through each of the color passes. At the end of that, you can also then apply a cutting pass, and the cutting pass happens in the front of this machine. It's nice that you can actually remove this shroud here to look at it. So in the front, it kind of looks like a small version of a vinyl cutter, like a Cricut cutter that we have here at the office. Obviously narrower, the width here is just at 4 inches, but you have a knife, a pretty sharp knife, and it's on this moving, I guess you'd call this the Y-axis here, and it's latched into a holder that allows it to freely rotate 360 degrees, because this is like those vinyl cutters, it's a drag knife cutter. It kind of freely moves around as it moves along that Y-axis, and then the photo moves along its conveyor on the X-axis, and through that combination of that 2-axis movement and the knife being moved around, it's not jabbing into the outline, it's dragging along the outline to keep it sharp. And it works pretty well. And actually, I want to demonstrate that for you right now. So I have the application pulled up. I have an arrangement here of a sticker sheet, and we're just gonna press make so you can see how long it takes to cut this out. And I'm gonna adjust some settings here that we will talk about. All right, so it's done printing, and now it's gonna go through the front of the machine and do the cutting. And it first comes out all the way. So typically you have this on a flat table. And the amount of time it takes to cut the stickers will vary between the complexity of these outlines, but it's still pretty fast. You can actually see it right now. It's cutting those stickers. And so back to talking about registration and how well the print aligns with the cut. One of the ways that you can always test the accuracy of these XY 2-axis cutters is cutting a circle, because if the circle looks like an oval, then you know there's some misalignment between the X-axis and the Y-axis. And so I designed a sticker sheet that's basically mostly circles, so little Savage meatball stickers. And just looking at the outlines between the top right and the bottom left, the top and bottom, they're pretty close, although there is a little bit of misalignment. It's kind of shifting just by, I would say, a millimeter by the time it goes from to top to bottom. And this print is actually done. So again, not all that long. And that's why for most of the graphics that you end up printing on this machine, by default, the software, whether it's on the app or on your laptop that you can print plugged over USB on this machine, they naturally add a border, a stroke around your sticker object. And what that stroke does is it mitigates some of the inaccuracies of this cutting system or any of the limitations. And so by adding just a couple millimeters of border, of white border around each of your stickers, you don't notice that it's not as finely aligned to your graphic as it can be. With some of the finer details, the drag knife quality also means that it tends to want to kind of ease into a curve more than make a sharp angle. That's not to say it can't do sharp cuts and angles. It can definitely do that. I can see from some of the edges here, but there are definitely places on designs where I found that it can't do as squiggly a corner, and it kind of adds a little bit of a wider curve to it. And again, I think that's just kind of the limitation of the drag knife. It's not as accurate as a laser cutter, for example. And so by adding that border, adding that buffer, that kind of eliminates those errors. But you might not want every sticker you print to have a border. And you can adjust that border as well. And so all of that goes down to the software that this machine runs on, whether on a phone or a desktop application. And on these applications, I think they're basically exactly the same. The biggest limitation I found is just how to create the outlines of stickers, because it relies a lot on their own kind of cloud processing of recognizing backgrounds and removing them. So on the one hand, it makes it really easy for you to upload a photo of anything from your camera roll, let's say a photo of your friends and family, and say just remove the background from this. And I'd say 9 out of 10 times it does a pretty good job of just eliminating that background, leaving only the subject there. And you can kind of tweak the image and paint over some spots to fine-tune that a little bit. But for people who are designers who want a very precise sticker, the ideal way would be to be able to upload some type of vector outline, some type of shape yourself. And you can't do that. There are built-in shapes. There are some primitives, some basic circles and triangles and squares I can use as sticker shapes. But if I wanted a sticker in a really complicated vector shape, the workaround to make that a shape that can cut here is that you actually have to create and import a PNG image with a transparent background. So you can use an image editing program like Photoshop and import a vector, an outline as a mask over a photo and say, cut this out, eliminate the background yourself, and then save that as a PNG and then upload that to the application and then print that out. And even then, by default, it wants to add that buffer, that border. So with every print, you have to you can adjust and say, I want no border, or I want to even cut tighter in. And even then, you can only cut exterior outlines. You can't cut any holes or shapes in the stickers themselves, which I find is a little bit of a bummer. Like if you want a really complex graphic with negative space that you want to put in your laptop, you can't have that negative space cut out with a PNG with a transparent background. Also, going back to how dye sublimation printing works and how you have to think about ink management, what you want to do is maximize these sticker sheets, right? These templates that I've created have really filled up the sticker sheet. You don't want to stuff with a lot of negative space. And so I wish there was something in the program that would allow you to say, just duplicate this image, or let me import all these images and lay them out automatically so that there's no negative space, as little negative space as possible with this set amount of buffer. Kind of how there are programs for laser cutting where we can say automatically lay this out so that I'm maximizing the cut area and leaving no waste. That's not a feature yet. It's my most requested feature. And then also there's some quirks, like if you're printing an image, and this is an example of my dog with a photo of the background removed, if someone was selling a photo or sticker sheet like this, you might want to have the background still on the sticker. And you can manually say, paint the background a color. So here's a photo, a sticker, then the stickers of Batman, but the black background is actually just a paint bucket in the application saying, just make a black background and don't cut that out. You can also import an image multiple times. So one workaround is, for example, I imported this poster art. It cut it out automatically, digitally, removed the background, and then I imported the photo again and resized it and aligned it so it looks like the background is still there. So these are all the kind of quirks and workarounds you can do to make a really nice looking sticker that, again, you can do whatever you want with. And all of this is to say that it's a really nice machine in potential, but I still think that there could be some software improvements, because it's not cheap to get into this. The machine itself is close to $300. I've seen it fluctuate somewhere between $250 and $280. And the materials, you have to use the cartridges and the sticker sheets and the photo paper from Liene themselves. The photos cost about 45 cents each, and the stickers are about 60 cents each. So with the machine being that much, I really think it moves it out of the realm of something that's fun to have at home and to work with, make stickers for your kids, and something that you're always thinking about, well, how can I make money with this machine? Again, if you're a graphic artist, you go to conventions, printing out sticker packs, maybe customized for the convention, you can probably sell those for $5 or $10 a sheet. And so 60 cents to print out and cut out a sheet is a pretty good cost. Again, it moves this into the realm of a business machine and not a just have fun machine. It also is a good prototyping machine, right? So, maybe you're a small business and you have a good supplier who makes stickers for you. One thing we always say is, there's nothing like having a tangible sample. And anyone who is in manufacturing knows this. The size and the quality and the color of an object on a screen is never exactly how you imagine it until you get a tactile, tangible sample. And we have that same experience with t-shirts and stickers as well. So having a sample sticker sheet, being able to scale this to a very specific size and go, okay, that does go on as a laptop sticker pretty well, that could be worth the price of investment for a machine like this, just so you're not having to go back and forth with whatever sticker supplier you're already working with. And then I want to experiment with using this in projects because the stickers are fairly robust. They are locked in a certain quality. They're not too thick. They're glossy. They're pretty durable. So I've used them on things like laptops, on things like water bottles. But we're also thinking of maybe putting it to use on things like model kits, on props. This might be a good device to make graphics or stickers for hand props, so you don't have to resort to just solid color vinyl, as we've previously done with vinyl cutters, or printing, stickers that you have to manually cut out yourself. It's never as precise as what a machine can do. Really interesting machine, the first I've seen of its kind in this kind of prosumer market. And what I want to see is more of this. It just makes a lot of sense to have both the printing and the cutting in one device. I want to see more of these machines out there by different manufacturers. But this is the Liene PixCut S1. If you're interested, we'll have links in the description below. And if you already have one of these machines, I know there's a pretty robust Facebook community of PixCut S1 owners. I'd love to know what type of stickers you're printing and what success you've had maybe selling those stickers and sticker packs at places wherever you might be selling them. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I'm Norm, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching that video. If while watching any of my videos you like any of the t-shirts that you see me wearing, well, you can go buy them. And there's two places you can get them. First, you can go to tested-store.com, a web address that my crew laughs is one of the hardest things for me to remember in my whole brain. But now they've given me a second URL. You can now go to adamsavage.com and buy any of the t-shirts you see me wearing on this channel. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff there too. Thanks.